Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear students, today we're going to learn about this pointer. What is this pointer all about? It's better to do some example because uh, learn by doing is a better way to learn. So let's make a class here, say ABC. I'm making a class. I'm doing a thing here, and now I want to create an object of type ABC class. Say obj1, obj second, okay fine, and obj3. Now I got three objects: obj1, obj2, and obj3. Now if I run it, it doesn't have any problem, because to create an object like this, we need a default constructor. But as we could see that there's no constructor whatsoever in a class ABC, then what happens actually is the compiler at the time of compiling provides a default constructor for us. So if we run it, it will not have any problems whatsoever. It's running perfectly. But we need to have a default constructor which is provided by the compiler, but we can also explicitly provide a default constructor like this. Now I'm giving my default constructor. Now this time compiler will not provide a default constructor, as we have provided a default constructor. And what happens is, every time I create an object like this, obj1, object2, object3, or hundreds of objects, whatever, of type ABC, they're all gonna call ABC constructor, this default constructor. Okay. Now let's see and print out, but we can print out that I'm called, and we see every time this will be called, like I say cout, I am caught. Okay. If you run it, this time it will have an error, because because the constructor is to be called at the time of the creation of object, and that is outside the class. That means anything that's outside the class cannot access anything which is private, because this time I am specifying no access modifier, therefore it is a private. So I need to call it as, I need to declare this thing in a public section. So this is the public section. Okay. Now if I run it, and you could see that I'm called is thrice, because I have three objects here. When obj1 was called, it get into the public ABC. When obj2 was called, again it get in the ABC, and I'm called is again cout, and then again for obj3. Now next thing is that we want to see what is the address of the object being created, because when the object is created, a memory is given to the class. Okay, whatever, if the data members are there, and anything what is there will be given memory at the time of the creation of the object, as we know. So what is the address of the current object is given by a special keyword called this. So if I'm saying that my address is, okay, and then I would say like we cascade the cout, and then I will say here this, and maybe also NL. Now this what does this do? This is actually the current object, the address of the current object. Now when obj1 calls, when obj1 is created, it calls the ABC, and at the time this is the address of obj1, the current object. When obj2 is created, at that moment of time it also calls the default constructor, and that time this will be the current object, that is the obj2. And what will be printed here? That this will have an address. This returns the address that is given to the cout, and cout will give it to the monitor. So what I'm saying is, this time we will have the addresses of these three objects if I give it a go like this. Now as you could see that my address is, this is 0x241ff5f. It is the address of obj1 in the memory, and this one is for obj2 and obj3. Now this is this stuff is in a hexadecimal. 0x in front means this is hexadecimal. We can convert this into the int by typecasting, because int is better for V people. So let's typecast this to the int. Okay, so that I'm telling him that convert this hexadecimal into the numeric that we could understand. That's the int. Now if I give it a go, you'll see that these are the integer addresses of the objects, like 37879647, 37879646, and 37879645. So these are the addresses of actually object 1, object 2, and object 3. Okay, so by that, we concluded what does this mean. So I hope you got it, that this means actually the address of the current object. So this points to the memory location of the current object, and I mean to say the object which we are talking about here. This is inside a constructor, and the constructor will be called by a particular object at the time of its creation. Okay, so that's all. Wait for the next video where we also use this and some constructors, more about constructors and this, and at the time of destructors also we will use this. So stay tuned for the next video.